name dot IBD. Okay, so in this case, all of those tables, individual tables, will get into this kind of file, table name dot IBD, and in your database directory. Okay? So .ibd is the extension for all of your InnoDB files. Inside this file, you're going to find data and index. Inside each file, you're going to find data and index about each table. In myISAM, we have different files. We have a file for index, file for data. But for InnoDB, those are combined into one file. Index and data would go to one file. Okay? Yes.
IBD, not IDB. Just making sure.
Let me see that. Okay. What do you put? IBD. Correct. Okay, now, this file starts at 64 kilobytes by default. This file, it means your data file, starts at 64 kilobyte KB and grows as necessary. It means if you put more data into a table, it's gonna grow, okay? Okay, one of the things that all DBAs are doing is the DBAs are saying, okay, now that I I transferred everything to here, there is no need for this anymore. So let's get rid of it, right? Because let me show you how to do that, right? So the point is either this or that, not both of them, right? But you need to do something to get rid of this part, okay? Let me show you how to do that, okay? Now you decided to have individual files for each table, okay? Now, what do you do?
Create a table.
Let me show you. Okay. First of all, you need to, okay, let me, first of all, you need to make a backup, okay? The manual says we should make a backup of all of these individual tables. You need to make a backup of all of these individual tables using mySQL dump. Using mySQL dump. We discussed about mySQL dump. You remember? You have it in your notes, okay? Following? And after that, delete all of these tables and delete this. There is no need for that anymore. Delete that. Delete this and delete all of it. Okay? And finally, recreate everything from your dump. It means restore back everything from your dump. Okay? Restore everything back from your dump. The system automatically takes care of it. one of the very important things that you need to know is that you could use the complete partition. It means the entire partition for your table space. It means you could say my table space could be the entire partition of a hard disk, right? Instead of specifying the file name as I showed you here, right? File name and size. You could say I don't want file name and size like that. I want the entire partition be my table space. Okay? By doing that, you are achieving a lot. First of all, speed. You're directly working with partition, not with the operating system anymore. Whole partition. Okay? Normally, operating systems have some limitation for the maximum size of the file or this kind of thing, right? If you do not want to deal with any of those operating system limitations, use partition, right? It means the entire partition will be under the control of InnoDB. And that is really interesting, right? Let me show you how to do it, okay? So if you have any partition available on your system, you could do that. Now, let me give you a little information about partition. When you are installing your operating system, let's say Linux, okay? When you're installing operating system, part of the installation is formatting the hard disk, okay? And creating as many partitions as you want. Okay? You could create 3 partitions, 4 partitions, 5 partitions, and so forth. Partition means you're dividing your hard disk into different chunks. Each chunk is called a partition, right? Now, when you are creating partitions, always make some extra partitions, right? For some tasks, like this task now. If you do not have any extra available partition, you could not use it, right? If you already have available partition, you could use it, right? Yes?
What about if you add an extra hard drive?
Oh, of course. If you add extra hard drive, the entire hard drive could be your partition. You could create one partition, only that is entire hard drive, right? And that is going to be your table space. And that is best, right? Everything is in one hard drive, right? Let me show you how you could use partition in your InnoDB data file path. Okay? So you're going to do it like that. InnoDB underscore data underscore file underscore path equal. Let's say device HDB1. This is the name of the partition available. Okay? Each partition has its own name. HDB1, HDB2, and so forth. The partition name. Okay? Okay. Before I write the rest of it, I need to tell you something. First of all, before doing anything, you need to shut down your server. Okay? You need to shut down the server. Follow me? It means mySQL server. You need to shut down your mySQL server. Follow me? And now you're going to do this in your configuration file, and after you're going to start it up. Let's complete that. 61440. I just made up a number.
Okay.
This is the size of partition which I have.
Gotcha.
This is the size of the partition. Upper M, lower nu, followed by raw. Okay? So this is the size of the partition, which you know that. And this is the name of the partition. Name, size, and you're gonna put M new raw, stick to your number, no space. M new raw is stick to your number, no space between 0 and M. No space, altogether. Okay? So now you're gonna start up your server, your MySQL server. MySQL server is gonna read this line from your configuration file and would know that it is dealing with a partition, right? So what you're gonna do is it's gonna take over the partition and you're gonna do all of those necessary things that need to be done. This is a raw partition, right? So the system automatically is gonna take care of it, and because the new raw tells the server that this is brand new, okay? Do any kind of initialization, setup, everything is needed, do it, okay? So MySQL is gonna take care of this now, and after that, it's gonna come up, right? It's gonna come up. The point is this, immediately you need to go back to, after coming up, now you need to shut down the server again. You need to shut down the server again. Go to this file and remove new. It means you're gonna do it like that. You're gonna have raw. Okay? Not new raw. Okay? And after that, start up your server again. I go over this process one more time in slow motion, okay? Shut down the server. Okay? Shut down your server. What I'm saying server, it means MySQL server. Shut it down. Okay? You know how to do that. Go to your configuration file. Add or modify this line. Name of your partition. All our partitions are in DEV directory on Unix, Linux, and Mac. Okay? Followed by size of partition, followed by M, upper M, new raw. NEW raw. Start up your MySQL server. It takes a little bit time to take care of this for you, okay? It has to register it internally, it has to actually set it up and initialize it and stuff like that. And also depending on how big this is, right? I have it finished.
Okay.
Okay. After that, when everything is okay, MySQL is up and running. Now you need to shut it down again. Go to the configuration file and remove NEW, new, from the command. And you're going to end up with that. Start up MySQL and you're set. Okay? Now let me tell you what happened. One of our new DBAs was a lady from St. Petersburg, okay? Which I hired some time ago. I asked her to designate one of our partitions for the table space. She said, okay. And I gave her the name of partition, everything, size of partition, and she did. No problem. And we were using it for about maybe 1 or 2 or 3 days or weeks or something like that. And I remember when we bounced the database, mySQL, immediately the table space cleared. It means whatever we had done in the table space evaporated, gone. It was like a puzzle. What happened? Why this happened? But the clue was when she bounced database, this happened. Okay? So everything was related to the configuration file, because when you are bouncing, configuration file will be read. I suggested that let's go to the configuration file, see what's happening. And I saw she still left new raw here instead of raw. New raw tells mySQL that go and start all over again and initialize entire partition. So after initialization, everything's gone. See how important this is? And I told her, how come you did not remove new? You said, I simply forgot.
Got to pay her then.
But thankfully, we had a backup of the table space, so easily we could transfer it back. Not a big deal. But be careful, okay? This is very, very tricky. Okay? It should be M raw, not M new raw. Yes?
So if you change the partition to another new one, does the old one's not going to be touched? It's going to stay there. Let's say
You
if
mean
put
the
a-
old one? Because
Let's say if you want to add a new partition,
if you want to add a new partition,
then this one's going to be there.
well, you can have only one partition for InnoDB, not 2 partitions.
Oh, okay.
Not 2 partitions. So if you decide to change this to another partition, the old one is
So
not untouched, no gone. The one touch is not gone.
So let's say you have the biggest hard drive in the market is like 4 terabytes. What about if you need 8 terabytes? How do you gonna?
Get her
It
ready.
means
You have to do RAID 0 or something to?
it means you had 4 gigabytes, now you have 8 gigabytes.
No, a terabyte. Let's say you have the biggest hard disk in the market, 4 terabyte,
Okay.
and you need like a 8 terabyte. How do you gonna make one partition with 2 hard disks?
So you want to divide your partitions by 2?
No, I wanna use 2 hard disks in one partition.
Yeah, you make your 2 hard disks into one partition.
Yes.
With software rated, hardware rated.
Yeah.
whatever you want.
Okay,
Yes, that's right.
that's gonna be RAID 0. Right.
Whatever rate you want to have. I mean, this is.
Rate-
you could
rate
have
one-
a
rate
40
one's in
disk
Europe.
array to give you a 40 terabyte thing.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is probably what he does. What I want to know is what file system format the data is in. You're just writing to a raw partition. There has to be formatting to that data.
Well, formatting will be done automatically
By myself.
by mySQL. That's what it takes a bit of time, I told you, okay?
It's got its own file system. Or?
That's why you lost the files when she bounced the service, because it's gonna be
That's right.
formatting again.
Because one of the reasons that she lost data by leaving new here was mySQL would assume that this is the raw partition and should be reformatted. Reformatting, it means losing them.
I mean, it could be losing the data. If you only lose the formatting at the beginning and end of your file system, the data would still be there, and you could disk dump it and then get it. What I want to know is like, is it made to be like ext3, the formatting of the data that's written, does MySQL take care of creating a new file system for the partitioning?
Well, MySQL is using its own partitioning mechanism, okay? That is totally independent of any operating system. As a result, this is very good. As a result, the table space is fully portable. We have made table space in Linux and ported to ported to Windows, and it worked great because MySQL is partitioning its own way, not partitioning, reformatting its own way. Okay, and I have not seen any relationship between, let's say, EX3 or EX2 or any of those Linux type of formatting. No, this is just proprietary of MySQL InnoDB. Okay, and that is very good. Otherwise, it would not be portable. Windows would not understand EX3. It would understand fact or something like that, but not EX3, right? This is only for Linux. Yeah.
It's better like for safety if you add this line without new inside the configuration file, and when you start the service.
Enable it. Remove the comment. Something.
No, and then you just dash in this option when you start the service first time, because then it's gonna be for the section, right? So if you bounce again, it's gonna be without new.
Oh, I see what you're talking about.
Is that better?
It means put this
Without new.
as part of the command line, right? When
Yep.
you're starting up with new in it, right? Okay. So after that, when you are bouncing, when you are starting again for the second time, it's gonna read this, right? Yeah. Very good idea. So you don't have to
Worry about it
yes,
when
you don't forget.
and you don't have to bounce twice. It's gonna
Yeah.
just shut down.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a very good point. Put this in a command line with new, okay,
And inside
for the first
configuration
time,
file.
and after that, for the second time, don't put this in a command line. This is going to come down to the configuration file, and you're going to read it from the configuration file. And configuration file doesn't have
New.
so you're not going to lose your files.
It's safer.
It's very safe, job saver.
Mhm.
Because this kind of mistake sometimes is going to cost our jobs. Okay? Now, how to enlarge your table space? How to enlarge a table space? Let's say you have a table space and you want to enlarge it, make it bigger. We know that we cannot make it smaller, but we need to make it bigger, right? How to enlarge it? Let me show you how to do that. Okay, first of all, you need to use the ls command. Use the ls command, ls-l suppose command. Okay, use ls-l command or dir command if you are using DOS to find the size of your table space file. To find the size of your table space file. Okay? Understand? It's a file.
But ls is gonna list.
ls-l.
It's gonna list all
I'm
the.
gonna give you file. ls-l followed by the file name. This,
Oh,
this
okay.
is called whatever the file name is. Okay? XXX.
Okay.
Table space file. It's a file, right? To find the size of your file. The point is, we need to find the size. Okay? The ls-l command reports the size in bytes. Following by default importing bytes.
So WC is not gonna work right now.
InnoDB is working with make or gig. They don't work with byte. So you need to convert that number that you're getting from ls-l to make. Okay? How to do that? Let me show you.
Could you put an H on it to make it human readable?
Pardon me?
Could you put an H on it? That's H for
To H for
human, human readable.
yeah.
Is that what? But you still have to grep out that field. DU.
I can show a lot of tricks of operating system tricks here, but unfortunately I am handcuffed.
Oh.
The reason for that is the background of students in this class is there is no prerequisite of operating system course or something for that, right? So they have told me that I just use a very basic command that almost everybody is familiar with, right? That's what I'm trying. Otherwise, I could give you much better than that. Okay? I don't want to insult any of your intelligence if you know this kind of thing. I say, oh, I was talking very childish in this case, right? Because I'm thinking about some students who have problems. Because believe it, for write scripts, although our scripts are pretty simple, some of the students have a lot of problems doing that, and sending me tons of questions that, wow. For example, questions about if statement, questions about quotation, questions about many other things like that. That's what I am, in my discussion, I'm trying to be operating system neutral, or if I'm talking about Linux or Unix or something, use very basic command that even my grandma knows about, okay? This is the reason. But definitely there are some other ways to do that. So, use ls-l followed by the file name to calculate the size of your table space, okay? This size should be converted to meg normally, because maybe it's smaller than meg. So convert to meg by doing that. Divide that number by 1048 576. Whatever do you get divided by this number to convert it to meg. Okay? Because it gives us bytes. Okay? Convert it to. Okay? Okay. Now, let's go back to this command now and use it again by information that you have. Okay? Let me show you how to do that. Okay? Let's go for example here. Okay. So, what we did in my company, we decided to increase the maximum size of our table spaces to 4 gig. We decided to increase the maximum size to 4 gig. It was already much smaller, okay? So by using ls-l, we calculated and divided by this number. Now we know what the size is, right? And after conversion, what we got was something like that. In our test, we got 1904 meg. This was the result of our calculation. Okay? It means the size of our table space was currently 1904 meg. Okay? Now we want to expand it to what? To maximum 4 gig. Let me show you what the command is. What we did. InnoDB underscore data underscore file underscore path equal IB data 1 colon 1 gig semicolon, ID data 2 colon 1904M. This is the one that we currently have, right? Semicolon, let's continue the next line. Semicolon, continue the next line. Okay. IB data 3 colon 110 megabyte. This number that we selected, okay, with no reason, but we selected this number. Auto extend, colon max colon 4 gig. Okay. So the point is, we are not able to increase this, right? We are not able to increase this. So what we did, we added another file to it, right? And we started by 100 megabytes and go all the way to what? 4 gig. Expanding it to maximum 4 gig.
Why you put B there and another one you didn't use B?
Oh.
Okay, that makes sense.
Typo. 100. And now it goes all the way to, that's what we can do with it.
Now-
IP data 1, 2, 3 table spaces.
What?
Like, are the IP data 1, IP data 2, and IP data 3, are those table spaces?
The whole is, actually, yes, there are 3 data files for table spaces, yes.
Oh.
One of them is called IB data 1, the other one is called IB data 2, and the other one is called IP data 3, located wherever we discussed already, where it's located, okay? And the sizes are here. Yeah. Yeah, these are the names of 3 data files. So there is no limit for how many data files you want to have, right? But the limit is only the last one should be expandable, right?
So, 1904 megabytes. This is size of current table space.
Yes.
And IB data 3. This is new space
This
for
is a new
our
one. The new one that we
So
added.
we created.
Yes, we created this, okay? And since this is the last item, we could expand it to what? 4 gig. Yeah.
So in that case, it's not gonna work if you do that.
No,
There's a partition.
for this.
Because you already have the maximum
yes,
size of.
Because you have only, so you could change the partition, right? All
Okay,
them?
right.
So after we set this up, any new table that is created will be stored in the IP data 3, right?
Well, yes, because this is only full.
Yeah, it's already full.
This is already full. Because this size is the maximum, is already full, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everything's going to start from here, right? In this. Exactly. Any table, any whatever you're creating, it's gonna go from here. And it goes all the way to our. Okay. Yes.
I just want to be clear. When the engine is storing data, it starts with IB data 1, fills it up, goes to IB data 2, fills it up, and then goes to your next one?
That's correct.
Okay, cool.
This is the way it is, yes. It starts from here, and I have to go to the next one, and finally goes to the next one.
Can
Yes.
can you restore with these files?
You mean you mean backup or something like that? Sure. MySQL dump is the best tool for doing that. Yes, that's what we are always doing. MySQL dump. Okay. So we discussed about that. We learned how to enlarge it. The log files, since we don't have that much time, I need to skip over some of the stuff because it's going to be a very long story and I have time limitation for engine. Log files also have some entry in our configuration file. It means log files need to be configured and controlled by you guys too for InnoDB. Let's go for how to take care of log files in your configuration file. Okay, it means commands for controlling log files. Okay, I told you out of the box when you're activating InnoDB, 2 log files getting created. Do you remember? 2 log files, right? But now, how could we change those 2 log files and maybe the locations and the sizes and stuff like that, okay? Let me show you how to do it. So this is a log file section of InnoDB in your configuration file. Okay. To size and locate your configuration files, to size and locate your configuration files, you're going to do the following stuff, okay? Stuff that I'm putting on the board for you right now. To size and locate. InnoDB underscore log underscore group underscore home, let's say equal user IB logs. Let's say we have a directory or folder is called user IB logs, and all of the log files will go there, right? It's up to you. You could just create it and do it, okay? Now, how many log files you want? There is no limit for number of log files. Default is what? 2. You can have as many as you want, right? So, what command decides number of log files? Let me show you. InnoDB underscore log underscore files underscore in underscore group equal to. The default, you could change it to 3, you could change it to 1, you could do whatever you want, right? 2 is the default, right? So out of the box, the value of this is what? 2. As I said, 2, and each one is 5 meg. Do you remember? We discussed about it. Each one is 5 meg at the beginning of discussion. Okay. Now, you could change those sizes. You could say InnoDB underscore log underscore file underscore size equal 250 meg. Okay. The manual says this number should be 25% of buffer pool size. Remember we made buffer pool size somewhere here?
Yeah.
Buffer pool size is
128.
okay, right? See that? The buffer pool size. The manual says the size of your log should be 25%, it is 1/4 of the file. Okay? Of course,
So in
these
that
are
case-
different examples,
Okay.
you know, but this should be 1/4 of the size. Okay? If you want to do that for here, I could change.
30.
So if you want to calculate this based on this information, it should be 1/4 of 128.
You
right?
did there, 30.
What?
You did there.
Yeah. Which is
Fourth line.
32.
The fourth line, 30.
It's gonna be about
30.
30. So we could put it the other way. If you want to make correlation between them. So
This is going to be for each file or for all the files?
for each file.
Each file.
Yes. So now we're going to end up with 2 files. Each one is 30 meg. Okay. The other thing is log files are normally go to the memory, and after from the memory will be flushed out to the hard disk, right? Because activity is going to take place in the memory for efficiency. But how much memory you want to designate for your log files? Now the next line shows how much memory you need to designate for your log file. InnoDB underscore no, we don't need that. Because we already because the point is log files are using this. Log files are using this. And are using extra. What is that extra one? This guy is going to use these two. Used by log files 2. Okay? So these two are used by log, so I don't need to retype them again. Okay? Because the memory allocated for InnoDB activities, including log files too. So that's what it was saying that should be related to that. So it should be 25% of that. Okay. And
So
that's
actually,
about it. Yes.
so actually everything there belongs to there, right? Because buffer side and TRX commits all belongs to the log files. and-
Yes, also, yes. Because they are all one system, InnoDB system, right? They are not two different entities, okay? One of the very important part of InnoDB is InnoDB supporting transaction, okay? InnoDB is supporting transaction. For these days, if any engine does not support transaction, or if any database doesn't support transaction, that is the weakness or negative point for that database or for that engine, okay? So transaction is very important these days. But maybe some of us do not know what transaction is, okay? So in order to make sure that I am not wasting your time, I'm gonna ask you, if anybody is here in this class who does not know what transaction, if you do not know, raise your hand. If you don't, if you know, I'm gonna skip over it, because I want to get into something. Okay, so 2 or 3 of you, good enough, I'm going to tell you what the transaction is, okay? When you are doing some query, not only query, when you are modifying your table by deducting something or removing something from the table or adding something to the table, right? These jobs are done one after each other. It means one at a time. So let's say you are trying to delete something from a table. Deletion will be done, and after that you're going to add something to the table. Add will be done, okay? So these are individual, okay? And that is a sort of a problem, source of a problem. Acting individual stuff are source of a problem, okay? We want group of jobs, removal of data, inserting into data, updating your table, and so forth. Group of jobs being done simultaneously. Understand what I'm talking about? Simultaneously, it means at the same time. Okay? For any reason, if even one of these jobs is not done completely, it means it's failure, the others should stop you. Okay? If you are not able to remove from your table, modifying, later on adding and stuff should stop. The system should not continue. Okay? So in a world of transaction, is everything or nothing? Right? Everything or nothing. Clear? Let me give you an example about why. It's a real life example. Not I have not made it up, okay? Let's say you want to go to the bank and get cash from one account and put that cash into another account, right? Sometimes it happens you have 2 accounts. Get money from this account, right away put money into another account, right? Now, I'm going to do this without transaction, and after I'm going to do it with transaction, and you see the difference. Okay? Let me show you. So when you are cashing money from your account, in fact, this is the, in fact, you're updating your table, right? Because you're getting data from your table, it means your table is getting updated. So this command will be processed when you're caching from your account. Update. ABCD, name of the table. Set value equal value minus 100. Let's say you're deducting or getting $100 from your account where account number ACCTNO equal 123. Okay? And now, the next one you're going to do is update. ABCD set value equal value plus 100, where ACCTNO equal 4, 5, 6 different accounts. Okay, this is a master file of your master table or master file in your for customers, right? Everybody has account. I'm deducting from one account and putting it to another account, right? See that? Now, what's gonna happen when you are deducting here? Some failure happens in this system, goes down or something wrong happens, and money is deducted but is not transferred to another account.
Got robbed.
See that? Big problem. Money is deducted but is not added. So these two transactions, these two lines should be done simultaneously, or if the failure happens in one of them, the other one should not be done, right? Understand? So either both or nothing. Okay? So in this case, you need to do transaction. Okay? Transaction is a mechanism that we are using to say all of these lines should be done or none of them should be. Right? To guarantee safety. So transaction is made for guaranteeing safety. Okay? Is the only reason. Okay? And not necessarily limited to only two lines. There are many lines involved possibly, right? Okay? So let me show you how this could be done. Okay? First of all, you're going to use, I'm going to put it in red to show you this. You could use, at the very beginning, you're going to do this. Set auto commit equal 0. Okay? By default, mySQL is using auto commit. It means each transaction automatically will be committed, right? So you need to stop commit. It means if by default this is not 0, it means auto commit. So when the first line is done, the system is going to commit that, going to the job.
No matter what.
Okay, so we need to say, hey, don't do that. Okay, unless I want. Whenever I want, go and do the commit, not auto commit. So auto commit is disabled now. Okay, disable auto commit. The very first thing you're going to do. After that, you need to enable in transaction. How are you going to enable transaction? You're going to use start transaction. Okay, start transaction. Or you could use begin. Either one of them is going to work. Start transaction or begin, both of them means start transaction. So you could use this or you could use this. Following. Start transaction or okay. Okay. So we do these kind of things. Okay. When you finished, you're going to use commit. Okay. And now, either both of them will be done or none of them. Okay, so whatever is sandwiched between start transaction and commit will be done simultaneously. Okay, see how easy it is? But the point is, some engines do not support this. It means if you use start transaction, the error message. What is that? Following? InnoDB supports that. Okay? Then one of the good things about InnoDB is you could do this, okay? Supports that. Now, I want to give you
Does MySam support that?
my ISAM also supports that, yes. My ISAM supports auto transaction, okay? Okay, now, let's, oh, by the way, I forgot to say something. How do you know that commit is enabled or disabled on your system? Okay, I use set commit to 0, right? But because I know that is enabled, but let's say you do not know how commit is enabled or disabled. How are you going to find out? Let me show you. You could use select at auto commit command, okay, and it's going to tell you true or false, okay. If it's true, it means auto commit is enabled. Otherwise, false, it means it's not enabled, okay. Now, I want to give you a little bit more complicated example, and that's it. I think we're going to finish this subject tonight. So, a little bit longer example. And saying was more complicated transaction, okay? More complicated transaction. Okay. Set auto commit equals 0 to deactivate it. I always do it regardless, okay, to make sure. Okay, begin. Insert into customer values 10 comma John. For John I'm adding 10. For John, okay. Insert into customer values 20, let's say David. And now I am delete from customer where ID equal 10. I'm deleting a record for a customer that has ID number of 10. Okay? Okay? And commit. All of them are done simultaneously. Okay? Okay. Now, we have about 10, 15, about 14 minutes, so maybe I can give you another example, better example of that. Set auto commit equals 0, begin, insert, bunch of inserts, whatever you want. Another insert, bunch of inserts. Okay, insert to the table, and another insert. So 3 inserts are here, okay? Now look at this new instruction. Save point A, B, C. I'm going to tell you what this does. This creates a marker for this area. I'm going to tell you why I'm doing that, okay? Save point A, B, C, D. Okay? Now let's continue. Delete something on the record and delete another record, and now roll back to save point A, B, C, D, and insert something, delete something, and finally comment. Okay? Okay. Now, first of all, roll back to save point. It means go back to here. So roll back means go to. Like a go to statement in some program, right? Means go to here, right? Go back to here. Now let me tell you what is going on. First of all, the system is gonna do these, okay? These will be done, okay? Will be done with no problem. It means these, the system will insert and do this kind of, right?
So does rollback mean you insert a second time?
Rollback means go back. Go back to whatever the point is. It means go back to this mark. This is a marker. Okay? So save point creates a marker, and rollback it means go back to that marker. Okay? So this part, it means insert and insert and insert, process, done.
Or not.
Completely done. This is completed. Now, delete, 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 and insert won't be processed. This part, okay, from here will be ignored. Okay, will be ignored. Okay, so let me. If you want something being ignored, use rollback. It means go back and don't do it. Okay, so do it, but from this point all the way to commit, don't do it. Follow me? So you have a big transaction. You want part of it being done, part of it being ignored, right? So if you have such a thing, it's very easily. You could create a marker. It means from this point down to commit, everything should be what? Ignored. From this point down to what? to commit. Everything should be ignored, okay? Follow? Because right over here, we say go back here, and the system completely ignores all of these. So whatever is between this point and the roll back and commit won't be touched. It means this area will not be touched, this area will not be touched. Okay? So whatever is between the marker and commit won't be touched. The system ignores that, system ignores that. Okay?
So the last two inserts, will be done and it
No,
won't be?
no, won't. Only whatever is above the marker will be processed. Whatever is under the marker, the system automatically rolls back and never goes back anymore. Okay?
So-
Will be ignored.
So why you create a save point
Why?
if you want to ignore?
Just to show you that this part has no effect. This part has no effect. Just to teach you.
No, but why they made that? Because you just don't do it if you
Don't do
don't
it.
ignore.
Yes. The point is,
So why they make save point?
well, very important. Let me tell you something. So your question, why do you make it, right?
Hmm?
Very good question. Normally transactions are made in a file. We call it transaction file. And it's a large file, very large file. And it is intended to start from the beginning and all the way to the end. It means everything should be done. Later on, based on some condition, we do not want part of a transaction being done. Follow me? So for example, we do not want these deletions take place, happen. So the easiest way is we
Save
add
point.
only one, we create a point here and add rollback.
So after the rollback is gonna be done.
After
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
After
No, after rollback.
after rollback, no.
No.
So how come you're gonna
Yeah,
take a
it
part
is
of the
different.
file?
So it means, this is the point. Everybody thinks after rollback will be done, but no. The system, once goes back here, never comes back here.
So,
So I am sending this to here, right?
mhm.
It means right away, that's it, this is the end of the job. In fact, this marker, it means end of the job. It means commit and that's it, finished. So whatever is under this marker won't be done.
So,
Okay?
so if you want to take just the part of the file, how are you gonna do it? You're gonna start like another sellout commit and
Yes,
everything,
right,
and then
that's right.
so you have to add like 1, 2, 3, 5, like 5, 6 lines between the. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So again, I repeat
That's
myself.
weird.
This is not my design. I'm just trying to show you how it works. Okay. If it is not clear or something, send a complaint to Oracle. Okay. But the point is this: whatever is after the marker won't be touched. Okay. Whatever. Doesn't matter. This part, completely. Okay. So this is very interesting that you could do part of the transaction and not part. And this is very common. As I told you, we are making very large transaction file which has hundreds or thousands of different records of transactions to be done. And later on, we say, okay, we don't want this part to be done, we don't want this part, so we're going to make several breakpoints and remove them from.
But we can have several save points.
Exactly. That's right. It's a good point, but you could have that. That's
Yeah, I know we can. So this way, our first save point
Mhm.
always will be end.
That's correct. But you could have several save points, right?
Yeah.
And in this case, You could have more control. Okay? But let me tell you something. One of the reasons I'm trying to skip over this subject is transaction subject is not part of DB agent. Transaction is something that the previous, your previous courses, your teachers should have taught you. The reason that I just brought it up, and if you remember at the beginning, I asked you, how many of you are not familiar with transaction, right? Because if you knew that, I would have not discussed about it, because you're wasting your time. 15 minutes of my time wasted for this subject when I had to discuss about some other engines, right? Tonight is engine discussion, not transaction. Transaction belongs to 155A, okay? But anyway, maybe covered, not covered, I don't know. But very briefly, I just want to tell you that whatever is after save point won't be touched no matter what. Okay? Okay? I'm ready to answer the question. Yes.
So I was thinking, or trying to think of an example for that save point, and I was thinking maybe I would use like a credit card at a gas station. And, it tends to check to see if the card is good, and then it posts something to my account for like $1, and it says it's pending. And would that prevent that money from going back?
That's correct. Yes, very good example. Yes, yes. Very good example. Yeah. So you understood what it does.
Yep.
Yeah, very good example. Guys, let me tell you what we're going to do next week, okay? InnoDB finished. I cannot spend more time with it. Next time, I need to talk about 3 or 4 different engines. But talking about these engines won't be very comprehensive. I'm going to discuss about just enough that you know what's happening. For example, what is a black hole engine? I'm going to give you examples about how to do that. What is a merge engine? And different engines I'm going to discuss, at least 3 or 4 more engines I'm going to talk about next week, okay? And all of them would take about maybe 1 hour or 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. It means half of our class time, okay? And after that, we switch to different subjects, okay? What subject I really like to cover in this class is teaching you how to use stored procedures, stored functions, and stored trigger, okay? These are very important subjects that you need to learn how to do that, okay? Very often DB is going to create its own functions and use them to facilitate the job. You need to know how to do that, okay? So talking about stored procedure, stored function, and stored triggers would be the subject of our next week. Of course, I need to finish the subject of engines first, and after that, social. So 2 subjects will be covered. If you want to read from the book, your book is available. If you don't, wait for me until I start talking about it. When I cover the subject of stored function, stored triggers, and stored procedure, I'm going to give you a new homework assignment based on this subject, okay? Because for the engines, we have done the job, right? So the next homework assignment is about stored procedure, stored function, okay? Which I'm going to give you next week.